Welcome, Stampers. It's Faye from Faye's Stampin' Studio. Thank you for taking the time out of your day today to spend it with me. I'm going to give you week 2 of my sneak peek of our January to June 2022 mini catalog. And in today's video, I'm going to share a few samples of the Rainbow of Happiness bundle, as well as some forgot what I was going to tell you. So I was going to share those samples with you, as well as we're going to make this pop-up card. How could I forget that? And it's a pop-up pull-out card made with the Rainbow of Happiness. So that's the sample that we're going to follow today. But I am going to show you a couple other samples first. First, I want to get my iPad going here so that I can see your comments. And I always forget what I need to do that. And okay, I think we're good. So, okay, now we're good. So I'll just move these out of the way for a second. And there's a few things that we're going to... So this is the card that we are going to make. And I've used our celebration item, the paper, and it's called Sunshine and Rainbows. I've used that paper on here. In fact, I've used it on most of these. And I got this from idea from a fellow demonstrator that gave one to me as a gift. So I thought it was the cutest little package. So I have added it, and I've put in there, it'll hold a tea bag. And I've actually dropped in a little candy cane as well. Or you could put in little chocolates or mint chocolates or anything small that you would like to go in there. And then this one is using the dies from the Rainbow set. And those dies are called Brilliant Rainbow. And they are really quite unique. There's a lot of different things you can do. There's a few different clouds that you can use. And then there's this little rainbow border. And there's one other one. Oh, I've got the other one attached for the tutorial today. So I'll show that one to you later. And so we've got that one. And I believe this is some ribbon that, or some twine that was in a paper pumpkin kit. So it's retired, so you're not going to see it. And then I colored my pearls with dark Bermuda Bay. Had to think what that was called. And then inside, as you can see, I used that other die. So cute. Such a cute little card. And then on this one, this was my first attempt at this set. And I was really kind of in I wasn't just exactly sure what I was going to do with it. So first off, I did stamp the rainbows in 3 different colors. And then I thought, oh, I don't know. So then I put the little hearts on there. And then I added looks like water. And I still wasn't happy. So then I took my Home Blessing stamp set and just did this outline a couple of times with Misty Moonlight stamped on there. So then I was quite happy with it. Attached a few of the new butterfly embellishments, and then some of our gorgeous grape ribbon. And this one here, I use the gingham embossing folder, which it's pretty unique. This is a piece of the paper, the rainbow paper from the celebration, the sunshine, and I just fussy cut that and used another piece of the designer paper, stamped it. These are cut from the little dies from not from the rainbow set, but from the love set of dies. I just have to find them to show you. here they are, sorry. Sweethearts. So all these little hearts, I just cut them out in some different colors. And I thought they made really great embellishments, those hearts scattered on there. And actually on this ribbon, I didn't have any, so I don't know. I used to be a crocheter many years ago, and so I just pulled out my big bolt of crochet cotton, and again, I used the Stampin' Blends to color that ribbon. So I'm going to be using that a lot. I love the way it drapes because it's got a little bit of substance to it. It's not just real floppy. And then on this one I made, I decorated the envelope. And again, that was another one of these rainbows. And I simply folded it in half and tucked it across the back. So I thought that turned out really, really neat. And this here is Magenta Madness. And for some reason, I thought I had Melon Mambo, but those two colors look the same, so similar to me until you put them side by side. So it isn't quite as good a coordination as I would have liked, but I do really like that one. And last of all, I want to share this one with you. And again, this one I did the Pop and Pastels technique on it. And today I am also going to do that with you on the card we're doing today. And I also did it on here. So I'm going to make it very similar to this one, but just with different designer paper. And so yeah, I'll show you how that's done. And again, I just added, and this was some more of that crochet cotton, and it just lays so cute. And again, the designer series paper. And I didn't do anything on the inside of that one. So those are my samples from the Rainbow of Happiness bundle. So now we'll get right down to this card. Oh, I wanted to share this with you too. This is the little envelope die that's also it's in the Sweethearts dies, that little envelope. I thought it was so cute. Same with this little banner. I just tucked it in there for now. I thought it was so sweet. So I had to show you that. And on this one, this is your main card base, and it's 5.5 by 8.5 inches, and I've got it scored at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. So that's the normal scoring measurements. And we'll talk a bit more about that here in a bit. And I'm going to show you how to color that ribbon or that twine. And then now I've got a piece of I got all my designer paper here. The designer series paper, Sunshine and Rainbows. So I've got a piece 1 7/8 inches by 5 1/4. And I've got a piece 1 7/8 by 5 1/4 of a different pattern. And then here I've also got the same pattern. So I just have to decide which of those two sides. But I sort of think I was leaning toward the lighter, the Flirty Flamingo shades. So those are that. And oh, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you, this is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So that's those pieces. And then you also need a square that is 3 5/8 by 3 5/8. And then you're going to just cut it diagonally. And you're only going to need the one piece of that. And then there's some more design of that Sunshine and Rainbow Designer Series paper. And it is 1 3/8 by 1 3/8, and you need 2 of those. So I picked that particular one. And then you need one that's 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And that designer series paper is going to be mounted onto these basic white pieces. And this one is 3 inches by 3 inches, and these are 1 1/2 by 1 1/2 inches. So those are just going to be put together on those pieces. And the last piece that you need is another piece of the designer paper, and it's 3 3/8 by 3 3/8. And again, it's cut on the diagonal, and I've already used the other sides, so I used it on that original card. So that's the way those are. And then I have a piece of paper of basic white again, 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. And this is the piece that I'm going to cut my rainbow out of for the front of that card. But we will talk about that a little bit further into the card. We'll do it at the end. I'm just getting my mini big shot a little closer to me for later. So anyway, okay, so we have to start off, and we're going to fold this on the score at the half standard size card. We're going to do that, and then we're going to fold the other piece back at the 2 1/8 inch. And now we have to adhere the designer series paper to the front to this before we make the next cuts on there. I'll show you what happened with mine. So this is going to go here, and I thought I would we could do that, and I could do this, so then they're all a little different. Could do it that way too, or I could do this like that. But I think I'm going to make it a little different than my original one was. It's all the same on the inside, as you can see. So I'm going to start off, and we'll use where did I put those? Okay, going to use my liquid. No, I'm not. I'm glad. I am going to use my Stampin Seal. And you want to put lots of adhesive on these pieces. I think I'll put my mat underneath it so I don't get it all over. Because if you don't, then once you open it, you're going to end up, once you cut it, there's going to be some open spots. So I am really going to put a lot of adhesive on there. And I'm going to adhere it down to this piece. Whoa, I think I could have been a little higher, but I've got so much glue on there that I can't really move it. And then this one goes on here. I'll try to keep the bottom more even here. Then I can say I did that on purpose. That was an intentional decision. So if you're watching, just give me a like or a share or comment. Tell me, let me know that you're here so that I know that you're following along. And if you've got any questions, please drop them in the comments, and then we'll be good. So I purposely cut these at those odd sizes, so then one of those 6x6 sheets would be enough for it. Okay, so now what we have to do is we're going to make these cuts. I started out with this sample one, and I forgot to glue my designer paper on first, and then so it didn't really work the way I wanted it to. So this time I remembered and got my need to bring in my paper trimmer here. Hopefully you can see that in there. So what you're going to do is you're going to close this right up. Now I didn't use the heavier design, Whisper Basic White, I guess it's called now. I didn't use the heavier stuff because I knew it was going to get quite thick. So it's at, to check this for sure, it's at 1.25 inches, no, at 1.5 inches. So if you go to the 1.5 inch line, and we're going to go 3/4 of an inch up. So I don't know if you can see that dot or not. I made a little dot there just so it's easier to spot it. And I find it easier just to go to that 3/4 mark first, and push it in and then cut it. And then, so then it might not tear. So there, and then also at 4 inches. So you'll slide it along to 4 inches. So I missed telling you, you have to put the center fold of that card along the bottom panel here. So we're going to do the same here. Push her down and push it firmly down so that it cuts it right through. So hopefully we've got a good cut on there. Oop, that one didn't cut quite right. I didn't get it cut quite through, so I'm going to put it back in there and do do it again. Mistakes, I keep catching that edge there. Okay, so then now we need to score it along to join those 2 slit marks. So the one thing that's nice about the Stampin' Up! Trimmer is you can actually see through it, or the other thing you can do is you could use your pencil and mark it with a pencil and then just draw the line, and use your trimmer. But I am going to just do it this way and hope for the best on there. Looks like it marked it. So then you flip it and you're going to do the same on both sides. I've put my scoring blade down here just so that I don't accidentally grab the wrong blade. So again, it's got the line right there so you can kind of see where you're going with it. And go push firmly, firmly. Now this is the part that I found it a little bit confusing, so you'll have to bear with me. Okay, the center fold is so here we are. The center fold is I guess if you're looking at it from this side, it's a valley. So I'm going to look at it from this angle. Oop, you know what? I didn't get that scored where it should be scored. Oop, I got over about, it looks like I got over a little bit too far. So you can, looks like it's right there though. Oh well, I'm going to see if it'll work. I hope it should still work. It's just that center thing isn't going to be quite as good. And then these other ones are mountains, so then now we have to carefully push those into the mountain, pinch them, and pinch it, pinch it. And because when you close it, it's not going to close just the way I would have wanted it to, just because I don't have those score lines cut to the right location. But I'm just going to make it be there. So there, it looks like that on the inside now. I think it worked okay. I don't think it's going to cause a problem. So the next step is to adhere this on here, and I'm going to use this side here. And I'm going to use my liquid glue. Hopefully, oh, it's working. This fancy little tube I got off of Amazon. It works really good. I just put some liquid glue in there, and it gives you a nice fine. And I decided that I should be using my tweezers for this job. Then maybe I wouldn't get quite so much glue on my fingers and have my projects stuck up. So I have to concentrate when I'm placing this on here. There. Can avoid getting glue on my fingers that way. So then this piece goes in here. It's going to go like that. So on here, we're just going to put some adhesive just in here so that it holds that one. And I'm going to try my Stampin' Seal Plus and keep my fingers crossed that it doesn't tear my paper. Seem to have issues with my tape here. Last time I used it, it tore on the it picked up the cardstock. Now I just got to get it rolled. Oh, not going to use it. That's a pain. I'll fix it later. So I'm just going to go right along there with my adhesive. And then this here, you're going to center it and tuck it up into where the fold is. I'm kind of bending my card just so I can see if that's correct. I know it's not quite the center fold. Give this a good burnish. Make it lie where I want it to. So it's kind of, it'd be good. I probably should have just used my pencil and measured it, but of course I didn't. All right. So this is, the next step on this is we're going to adhere these additional front pieces together, and I'm going to use my liquid adhesive on them as well. Oh, that's hard to see on that little edge of white. One. So you, as you can see, you can use whatever designer paper you want. You can mix them up a bit or not, and they will work out just fine for you. If you again, if you've got some directions happening, you'll have to keep an eye on that when you're putting things together. And okay, I'm going to use this one and this one. There's no question on that one. But now my next question is, use that one or this one? That's the question. Does anybody have a preference on what we put on here? You know, I was going to use this side, I thought, but I think I'm going to go with doing it the opposite, just so my card is totally different than my sample, or it'll look totally different. It really isn't very different, but it will look like it is. And we'll get this on here. So I can hardly believe that Christmas is only like, oh, I don't know, 3 weeks away or something. Surely I'm glad that we don't really do a whole lot for Christmas, so it's can be pretty quiet around here on Christmas. So you have to remember to only put adhesive on the one side of these. So I'm going to put it on this side here. So we're going to put it there, and I'm going to use this glue here. And so just to help me remember, I'll hang on to it here. And you want to line those tips up with the edge of the fold there. And now this one here, we're going to want to put it the same direction, I think, as that one. So I want to make sure I get the adhesive on this side. Could you see myself messing that up? One thing about that glue is if you get it past the edge where you need it, you can just tuck it onto itself and it stays quite nicely. So then that is the next part. It goes there. And then this one here will go right on there like that, like this. And then all we'll have left is to decorate. So again, you just have to be sure you only put adhesive on this side. So we're only going to put glue on this side of this, from that point down to that point. And just try and center it. See how good we are at that. Push it down. See, it can get pretty thick, so that's why I chose not to use our heavier cardstock on that one. So now I want to show you what I did to do the poppin' pastels. I used my chalks, and I'm just going to grab the mini cut and emboss machine, and I need a couple of plates here. Now those are the embossing ones. We don't need those for this. There's number 1 plate, which is the base. Number 2 is a cutting plate, and I've already got my piece laying on there. So, and then I just need another plate. The other number 2 plate goes on top of it. So I should turn this around. I can't really crank it from that side. Get her started there. And hold it steady and crank it. Sorry, my arm is hanging through there. Good thing I have a fair amount of counter space because I sure need it sometimes. And this is a special tape that I bought off of Amazon as well. I've tried to find it in the office supply stores here, like I've tried Staples, and they just don't have this one. It's called labeling and cover-up tape, and I really like it. It doesn't tear the paper like our washi tape does sometimes when we use it. So I'm going to need that. And so these are the rainbows that I'll use. And so what I did on this other card is, I did do all of them, but on this one I'm going to just do a couple of them and see what we think, because we can always pull in some more chalks and do some more colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this just in case I get glue around. Actually, I'm going to do it this way, and I don't really care if I get glue on this because it'll just wash off. And I'm going to do the second smallest one, I think. I liked the way that other one looked, so I'm going to stick with it. So then what I did was, I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap paper here. I got all kinds of scrap around here to use. And we're going to use our soft pastels. So they're just like pretty similar to the old chalks were. And I'm going to use, what color did I decide on? Decided I was going to use Bumblebee and Coastal Cabana. So I think I'll start off with the Coastal Cabana. And I think this is the Bumblebee. It's the darker yellow one. So I'll just set those off there. And what I did is I just took and colored a bit on here for the color I wanted. And I might as well do the other one while I'm here. Use a bit on there. And I want the bigger one in the coast. So all you do is you can either pop it on like that, or you can rub it on. Just daub your... I've done these a few times, and I haven't actually used this technique for a long time. Since I got my new ones, I've used it a bit more. And then the other smaller one, we're going to just use the Bumblebee again. And I'm going to say if you wanted it darker, you could probably put some more Versamark on there maybe, or just keep coloring, putting more of your chalks on there until you get it where you want it. So you've got a couple of little rainbows left, so you could cut again or use them or not. So on this one, what I wanted to do is I wanted to stamp my greeting in here. So the greeting I chose for that is, I'm going to make something different. I really need some sympathy cards right now in my supply, so I'm going to use Sending Healing Thoughts Your Way. And I believe that's out of, some inspiration or thoughts. Sorry, I forgot what it's called. Inspired Thoughts. And it's got quite a few different sayings in there. So I'm going to use that, and I think I am going to use my Misty Moonlight just because it's a little darker. And I think it'll show up nicer on the inside as well. So then I need to get right up here. Oh, didn't do that very well. Guess we're not going to cut that one off. I got a little lower to the bottom than I wanted. I should have stamped it on my grid paper first. So then I fussy cut these just with a border similar to what the dies did. Can be kind of hard to go straight. So I'm hoping this is going to fit here, and it does. So then the next thing is I'm going to glue that on here. So again, I'm going to be using my very fine tipped glue pen. Used a bit more of there. And then a little bit more here. Some more on here. So this little bottle is great for anything like that. Okay. So I want it to be, I hope it's going to be straight, and I want it to be centered and all of those things. So then just have to push those down. Then these are going to slip into the spots ever so coolly, like that. And I like the way that shows through that designer paper, so I think that's what we'll go with. And the easiest way to glue these on is if you put the glue in here instead of on that rainbow piece. You have a little better chance of pulling it around, getting it where you need it. So I'm just going to put this in here and get it started. I think. And then just like that. And this last one, just this cover end, it can be kind of a nuisance. You end up having to sort of hold it in place when you're doing things. But it is going to be pretty adorable. Isn't that just the cutest, you guys? I really like that. It looks like it's really complicated, and I had to really think about it when I was doing this portion of it, right? And the last thing is I'm going to stamp the inside as well. So, I don't know. What do I have on here? I was sending you hell. No, I don't want that. I'm not sure what I want to put inside there yet, so I'm going to leave it. But as you can tell, you'll need to have a darker color in there so that you can see it. So, and the other thing that I'll mention to you, since I'm not actually going to do it, you might want to make a tiny little pencil mark kind of along where these are so that you stay in that perimeter when you're stamping. So the space for stamping is actually fairly small on this card too. So, but anyway, so I hope that you've enjoyed today's tutorial. It was a little bit longer than I thought it would be, but anyways, thank you for taking the time out of your day, and I hope you have a super rest of your day. Okay, thanks everybody.